At a family dinner, my mother-in-law said, "She doesn't need this tablet. Give it to your cousin." My daughter stared at her plate. My husband was silent. But my mother stood up and said this. The expressions on his parents' faces changed instantly. My mother-in-law tried to take my daughter's birthday gift off the dinner table and hand it to someone else. That is how the night started. We were halfway through dinner when she said it. No build-up. No hesitation. She does not need this tablet. Give it to Tyler. The tablet was still in the box, sitting beside Ava's plate. My mom had given it to her 3 days earlier for her 10th birthday. Ava had been using it for her art apps and a reading program her teacher recommended. She brought it to dinner because Linda had asked what she got for her birthday. I should have known that question was not innocent. Tyler is Eric's cousin. 16. The golden child of that side of the family. Straight A student, varsity soccer, already touring colleges. Every holiday somehow turns into a presentation about his achievements. Ava is quiet. She likes to draw. She reads more than she talks. She gets nervous when too many people look at her. When Linda said it, Ava froze. She did not even reach for the tablet. She just stared at her plate like if she stayed still enough, maybe the words would disappear. I waited for Eric to respond. He adjusted his napkin. Linda picked up the box and turned it around, examining it. This is expensive. Tyler could actually use something like this for school. Ava is still playing games. She's not playing games, I said. She uses it for her art and homework. Mark leaned back in his chair. Tyler is applying to serious programs next year. He needs an edge. An edge. Ava finally looked up at me and asked, "Am I not serious?" That question hit harder than anything Linda said. Eric cleared his throat but did not form a sentence. And that was the moment something shifted in me. Because this was not new. The comparisons. The small comments. The way Ava was always measured against someone older, louder, more convenient. But this was the first time they tried to physically take something from her while she was sitting right there. Linda slid the box a few inches across the table, closer to her side. "We can just give it to Tyler tonight. He's coming over later anyway." I felt my mom move beside me before I even saw her stand up. She did not raise her voice. She just said, "Put that back." Everyone looked at her. Linda gave a tight smile. "Excuse me?" My mom rested her hand on the tablet box and pulled it back toward Ava. "I bought that. For my granddaughter. With my money." The room went silent in a way that made my ears ring. Mark laughed once like this was about to be brushed off. "No one is attacking you." My mom looked directly at Eric. And that is when she said the thing that changed everything. Before I could stop her, before Eric could leave the room, before Linda could interrupt, my mom said, "Maybe if your son bought anything for his own child, we would not be having this conversation." Eric's face went pale. Linda stood up so fast her chair scraped across the floor. And Ava, who had not said a word since, quietly reached for the tablet and pulled it into her lap like she was afraid someone was going to grab it again. That should have been the end of it. It was not even close. The sound of Linda's chair scraping across the floor was sharp enough to make Ava flinch. "What did you just say?" Linda asked my mom. "You heard me," my mom replied. Eric finally spoke. "Mom, can we not do this right now?" That was it. Not a defense of his daughter. Not a correction. Just a request to keep things calm. My mom did not sit back down. "Grace and Ava did not ask you for anything," she said. "I bought that tablet because Ava earned it. Straight a report card. Art competition winner. Perfect attendance. She deserved something special." Linda crossed her arms. "Tyler has straight A's too. And he is applying to colleges. His future actually depends on these things. Ava's future does not matter?" Mark stood up now too. "No one said that." "It is exactly what you are implying," my mom said. I felt like I was watching a tennis match that had been building for years. Every holiday comment. Every comparison. Every time Ava was told to let Tyler go first because he was older. Eric looked at me like he wanted me to fix it. Like I was the mediator between his parents and my own mother. "I am not giving Ava's gift to anyone," I said. "That is final." Linda looked at Eric. "Say something." He rubbed his forehead. "It is just a tablet. Maybe Tyler could borrow it sometimes." "Borrow it." Ava's fingers tightened around the box. That is when something in me cracked. "No," I said. "He cannot borrow it. He cannot use it. It is not his." Linda laughed once, short and dismissive. "You are being dramatic. It is about fairness." "Fairness," my mom repeated. Your son has not had a steady job in 2 years. Grace works full-time. I helped with rent last month. And you are talking about fairness? Eric's head snapped toward her. You did not have to bring that up. Apparently I did. The room felt smaller. Heavier. Linda looked between us, and for the first time her expression shifted. Not embarrassed. Not apologetic. Calculating. If you cannot provide properly for your child, she said to Eric, maybe you should let us step in more. It was never about Tyler. It was about control. Ava whispered, I can give it back if it is causing trouble. That sentence will stay with me for the rest of my life. My 10-year-old was ready to give up her birthday gift to make adults comfortable. I stood up so quickly my chair tipped backward. No, I said. You are not giving anything back. Mark looked irritated now. You are overreacting. We are just trying to guide you. Guide us into what? I asked. Linda did not hesitate. Into doing what is best for Ava. And sometimes that means listening to people who are more stable. Stable. I knew what she meant. My mom understood it too. She looked straight at Linda and said, if you think for a second that you are more entitled to that child than her own mother, we are going to have a very serious problem. The air in the room felt electric. Eric stepped between them. This is getting out of hand. No, I said quietly. It is finally honest. Linda's next words were the ones I did not see coming. Maybe Ava would be better off spending more time here anyway. And that was the moment I realized this dinner was not about a gift. It was about them testing how much they could take. And they were about to find out they had pushed too far. Maybe Ava would be better off spending more time here anyway. Linda said it like she was suggesting a sleepover. The words did not fully register at first. Then I saw Ava's face. Confused. Worried. Like she thought she was about to be reassigned. What does that mean? I asked. Mark answered instead of her. It means she needs structure. Stability. You both have a lot going on. By a lot going on, he meant Eric being unemployed and me working double shifts at the clinic. He meant my mom helping with rent. He meant the fact that we were not the polished country club version of a family they wanted to present. We are her parents, I said. Linda nodded slowly. Of course. No one is saying otherwise. That is exactly what you are saying, my mom replied. Eric paced a few steps toward the kitchen and back. Can we just calm down? Linda ignored him. Tyler thrives here because we give him direction. Discipline. We could help Ava too. She is very sensitive. Ava looked down again. He is 10, I said. She is allowed to be sensitive. Mark folded his arms. We are not attacking her. We are offering support. Support does not involve taking her birthday gift, my mom said. Linda sighed. You are making this into something ugly. It was already ugly. I turned to Eric. Do you agree with them? He hesitated. And that hesitation told me everything. I just think he started maybe Ava could spend a few weekends here. Get some focus. Especially with you working so much. There was. Not as blunt as his mother. Not as forceful as his father. But the same message. You think I am not raising her right. That is not what I said. It is what you meant. Ava looked at him. That. He did not meet her eyes. Something inside me settled in a cold, clear way. The kind of clarity you get when denial finally burns off. Linda walked around the table and placed a hand on Ava's shoulder. You would love it here more often. We have space. Quiet. No stress. Ava gently moved away from her touch. I like my room, she said softly. Linda straightened. Children do not always know what is best for them. My mom stepped forward immediately. Do not talk about her like she is not sitting right here. Mark's voice hardened. You are guests in our home. And you are talking about our child like she is up for negotiation, I said. The tension was not just emotional anymore. It felt strategic. Measured. Then Linda said something that made my stomach drop. If you are struggling financially, there are legal ways to make sure Ava has what she needs. Legal ways. I stared at her. Are you threatening us? No one said the word custody. But it was suddenly sitting at the table with us. Eric finally looked alarmed. Mom, stop. Linda kept her eyes on me. I am just saying we would step in if necessary. Ava's voice shook. Am I in trouble? That did it. We are leaving, I said. Mark blocked the doorway for a second longer than necessary. You are blowing this out of proportion. Move, I said. He stepped aside. I grabbed Ava's coat. My mom picked up her purse. Eric followed us out without saying goodbye. In the car, Ava held the tablet tightly against her chest like it might disappear if she loosened her grip. No one spoke for the first 5 minutes of the drive. Then Eric finally said, "You did not have to escalate it like that." I turned to him slowly. "Escalate? You made it into a fight." I felt something in me shift again. "Your parents talked about taking our daughter and you think I escalated it?" He ran a hand through his hair. "They would not actually do that. You do not know that." He did not answer. And for the first time since we got married, I wondered if I was sitting next to a stranger. When we pulled into our driveway, my mom did not get out of the car right away. She looked at me and said, "Grace, you need to understand something. They are not done." And deep down I knew she was right. I did not sleep that night. Ava crawled into my bed around 2 in the morning. She did not say anything. She just brought the tablet with her and placed it on the nightstand like it needed protection too. Eric slept on the edge of the mattress facing away from us. The next morning I thought maybe things would cool down. Maybe it had just been a terrible dinner. Then my phone rang. It was Linda. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, Eric's phone rang. He answered. I could hear her voice through the speaker even though he stepped into the hallway. "You embarrassed us. That woman had no right to speak to us like that." Eric said, "Mom, can we not do this right now? You need to get your house in order. Mark and I have been talking." My stomach tightened. "Talking about what?" Eric asked. "About Ava." I stepped into the hallway. "Put it on speaker," I said. He hesitated. "Put it on speaker." He did. Linda did not sound angry anymore. She sounded calm. Organized. "We think it would be good for Ava to stay with us for a while. Just temporarily. Until things stabilize." "Things are stable," I said. "Grace, you are working 12-hour shifts. Eric is still figuring things out. That is not stable." "My mom has been helping," Eric added weakly. "Exactly," Linda said. "That is the problem. Outside interference. Outside interference. My mother paid our rent last month. Bought groceries. Covered Ava's school trip." "If you are implying I cannot care for my daughter, say it clearly," I said. Linda paused for half a second. "We are concerned." "Concerned enough to do what?" Mark's voice came through now. "If we need to consult someone about what is in Ava's best interest, we will." Consult someone. That was not subtle. Eric ended the call. For a long time none of us moved. Then he said, "They are just upset. They mentioned consulting someone. They would not actually go that far. You do not know that." I walked back into the bedroom and found Ava sitting on the floor, drawing on her tablet. She looked up at me. "Are Grandma and Grandpa mad at me?" "No." "Are they going to take me to their house?" "No." The second answer felt less certain than the first. By noon my mom was at our door. I told her about the call. He did not look surprised. "I have seen this before," she said. "When people cannot control the adults, they try to control the child." Eric sat at the kitchen table silent. My mom looked at him directly. "You need to decide which side you are on." "There are no sides," he said. "There are always sides when someone threatens custody." The word landed heavily. Eric stood up. "No one is threatening custody. Your father said they would consult someone. That is not nothing." He did not respond. Then, as if the universe wanted to prove a point, there was a knock at the door. Not a casual knock. Firm. Visual. Eric and I looked at each other. My mom walked to the door first and opened it. A woman stood there holding a folder. She introduced herself calmly. She said she was following up on a report expressing concern about Ava's living conditions. My heart dropped into my stomach. Linda and Mark had not waited. They had already made the call. For a second I thought I was going to pass out. The woman at the door spoke calmly, professionally. She said a report had been filed expressing concern about instability in our home. Financial stress. Emotional tension. Questions about supervision. Linda's voice echoed in my head. "We need to consult someone." They already had. The social worker stepped inside. She looked around, not in a judgmental way, just observant. Ava was still on the living room floor with her tablet. She looked up, confused. "Who is that?" she asked. I swallowed. "Someone who just wants to make sure everything is okay." The social worker asked to speak with me privately first. Then with Eric. Then with Ava alone. Eric kept saying, "This is a misunderstanding. My parents are just overreacting." "Overreacting does not trigger a report," I said. My mom sat at the kitchen table, composed but alert. She had already started pulling out paperwork. Lease agreement. Utility bills. Ava's school records. Report cards. The receipt for the tablet. The social worker asked steady questions. Do we have food in the house? Yes. Does Ava attend school regularly? Yes. Has there been domestic conflict? No. Has anyone ever physically harmed her? Absolutely not. When she spoke to Ava alone in her room, I stood in the hallway feeling like I was waiting for a verdict. After 20 minutes, the social worker came out. Ava seems well cared for, she said. He speaks highly of both of you. I felt air return to my lungs. However, she continued, when extended family members make repeated allegations, it can trigger further review. Repeated. They were not planning to stop. Eric ran both hands over his face. I cannot believe they did this. The social worker left with a polite smile and a promise to close the case quickly if no further concerns arose. The door shut. Silence filled the house. Then my phone buzzed. It was Linda. I did not answer. A text came through instead. We are only trying to protect our granddaughter. Protect her from what? From us. Eric looked destroyed now. I did not think they would actually report us. But they did. And something inside me shifted from hurt to clarity. This was not about a tablet. Not about Tyler. Not even about control anymore. This was escalation. I turned to Eric. If you think I am going to raise Ava under the constant threat of your parents calling authorities every time they disagree with us, you are wrong. He looked up at me, panicked. So what are you saying? I am saying this cannot continue. My mom stood up slowly. Grace, you and Ava can stay with me for a while. Eric's head snapped toward her. That is not necessary. Maybe it is, she replied. Ava walked into the kitchen at that moment. She had heard enough. Are we moving, she asked. I looked at her. At the tablet she was still holding like a lifeline. Maybe just for a little while, I said. Eric's voice cracked for the first time. You are seriously leaving over this? I met his eyes. Well, I am leaving because when your parents tried to take something from our daughter, you stayed quiet. When they suggested she would be better off without me, you hesitated. And when they called someone to question our parenting, you were surprised. That is not a partner. He did not argue. That told me more than anything else could. By that evening I had packed 2 suitcases. As I carried them to the car, I saw Linda's SUV slowly drive past our house. Not stopping. Just watching. And I realized something that made my decision final. They were not done. But neither was I. The divorce papers were delivered on a Tuesday. Eric acted shocked. Even though he had watched me pack, watched me move into my mom's house, watched his parents file a report against us. He kept saying we could fix this. That it had gone too far. That he would talk to them. But he never actually chose us. The first month after I left, Linda called constantly. Not me. Ava. I changed Ava's number. Then Mark emailed saying they wanted scheduled visitation because they were concerned I was alienating them. Their lawyer's name was in the signature line. That was when I hired one. It turns out courts do not appreciate grandparents weaponizing false reports to gain leverage. The investigation closed officially within 3 weeks. The social worker's final note stated Ava was thriving and there were no signs of neglect or instability. That helped. What did not help Eric was the bank statements. When we sat in mediation, it came out that my mom had covered more than half our household expenses for almost a year. Rent, utilities, school supplies, that tablet. Linda and Mark had told anyone who would listen that they were financially rescuing us. They had not given us $1. Eric sat there staring at the table as everything unfolded. For the first time he did not look defensive. He looked small. His parents tried one last move. They filed for partial custody, claiming established involvement and concern for Ava's welfare. The judge was not impressed. False reporting tends to weaken credibility. Their petition was denied. After that, things moved quickly. Eric stopped fighting the divorce. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he realized he had already lost something bigger than a marriage. The day it was finalized, I expected to feel dramatic relief. Instead, I felt steady. Ava handled it better than I feared. Kids understand more than we think. One night, while we were packing boxes again, she asked, "Are Grandma and Grandpa still mad?" "Probably," I said. She nodded and went back to wrapping her books. We moved 2 states away that summer. My mom found a small house near a lake. I transferred to a new clinic. Ava started middle school and joined an art club. Eric calls once a week. Sometimes he visits alone. His parents have not seen Ava since the court hearing. A few months ago, Tyler got into a good college. Linda posted a long message online about supporting the next generation and making sacrifices for family. I read it without reacting. Because here is what I finally understood. That dinner was never about a tablet. It was about testing whether I would allow my daughter to be treated as less important. They thought I would stay quiet the way Eric did. They thought I would compromise to keep the peace. Instead, they forced me to see exactly what kind of family I had married into. And they handed me the clarity I needed to leave. Last week, Ava sat at our kitchen table, the same tablet in front of her, working on a digital art project. She looked up at me and said, "I'm glad we live here now." So am I. Sometimes the worst night of your life is just the first night you finally choose yourself. Finally choose yourself. Finally choose yourself.